Hello and welcome to the Community Clubs Victoria podcast. My name is John Deek, and the purpose of this series is to gain a deeper understanding of the work not-for-profit community clubs do in caring for their members and the profits generated supporting their local communities and how the clubs are part of the fabric of their communities. Today I'm joined by Andrew Lloyd, the CEO of CCV, and our special guest, Gavin Comport, the General Manager of Altona Sports Club, a man who is very much in touch with his members and the local community. But wait, there's more. Gavin was recently announced as Keno Manager of the Year. Firstly, welcome, Gavin.
Thanks, John.
Welcome to you, Andrew.
Nice to see you both. Great to be here.
Now, just before we went on air, you said, but hang on, he's done more than that.
That's right, John. Look, Gavin was the recipient of the Club Manager of the Year award in 2018 and also this year, but also it was great that he was recognised actually by our Minister for Liquor, Gaming and Casino, the Honourable Melissa Horne. So there's a wonderful certificate that I've seen that's been presented to Gavin, and that's a great honour for Gavin and also this great club.
This is not the first time Gavin's received the Keno Manager of the Year award?
No, it's the second time, and that's something that's very noteworthy. Myself, way back, was a recipient in the old Licensed Clubs Association of Victoria days, and it is a great honour, not just for the manager, but also the club and the families of club managers that do amazing work.
Let's say hello to the man himself. Gavin, welcome to you.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Andrew, for those kind words.
It's lovely to be here at the Altona Sports Club yet again. I've had a few very, very pleasant times down here.
Pleasure to have you here.
And great members as well.
Yes, they are. We're very proud of our members. There's a great bunch of them.
What do you do here at Altona that you think is different to other clubs?
At the Altona Sports Club, what we think we do, really engage the community at the club, and the community of Altona are very engaging and they're very supportive of our club, which was really great. We appreciate what they do as far as community events, community groups that we have that support us in a big way, so we'd like to give back to them and support them as much as we can as well.
Yeah, John, I think my observations in coming to this club in relation to Gavin's skills, Gavin, I think, is a person that always likes to know how things work, always wants to be able to be a good mentor and trainer for his staff. But also I've seen some of the senior bowlers, ladies, come over, give Gavin a hug. He has a laugh and a joke with them, talks with them. He'll run out there and even show them how to actually bowl. I've been watching you. I want to give you a couple of tips. Gavin's that sort of people person that connects. That's why the judges, have twice awarded him with this honour of that award.
What would be some of the criteria that they would look for? I mean, you've obviously mentioned some of Gavin's attributes, and he's far too humble man to blow his own trumpet, but what would be some of the things that judges look for?
Look, it's the community contributions that the manager champions. It's the leadership, it's the financial results, it's the development of the club, not just facilities, but the staff and also programs. During the pandemic, I visited this club and Gavin was leading the whole team that were painting, gardening, doing so much amazing work, and that was something too. There was a lot of club staff during the pandemic that were down in the doldrums and depressed, but I witnessed a lot of managers that did some fantastic work helping the community during that tough time, and Gavin certainly up there.
Gavin, before we get on to your role here at Altona, tell me about your background.
My history, I've been in the hospitality industry for probably longer than I'd like to remember, John. I started out back in the day just working in the basic pubs in Carlton at the Kent Hotel, and the gentleman who I'm still very good friends with now, he's the CEO out at Craigieburn Sporting Club, Bob Burton. So I've got a lot of time for Bob. And he taught me that, he said, I'll teach you everything you want to know, but I won't pay you to learn. So I actually worked with him for 2 weeks. After that, I was working full-time for him for 3 years. So, yeah, it was a really great experience for me. And then I ventured out into working in hotels, eventually got into a hotel with gaming. I love the gaming industry, which is really a great industry to work in. Hospitality is fantastic itself.
What drew you to the Altona Sports Club?
I live in the area. I lived in Altona Meadows for probably 20 years. And I liked the area. I was working in RSL network before that. I'd done 9 years with the RSLs. I really, really, really enjoyed the RSL and the RSL ethos. And those members are fantastic as well. The returned veterans, returned servicemen and women.
Do you remember the year you came to the Altona Sports Club?
It was 7 years ago, John, I came here.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've been here 7 years now.
You've seen some amazing changes that you have also implemented here at the club.
Pardon me. Yeah, I have. But when I first came here, the assessment of the club was very dated, very old-fashioned, and very set in their ways, but well supported by local community back then as well, which was fantastic. We just needed to try and change a bit of the culture at the club and add some new things at the club. Some of the directors said to me, "Can you bring us into the 21st century?" I said, "Because that's what we need." members were and staff sometimes were a bit rebellious against change. They probably didn't like change because it was like, it was something all new to them.
Yeah,
but
sure.
we finally got them to buy in, and it made a big difference.
I think it's building relationships, Gavin. One thing that I've observed is that your board members come to events, you include them, you work with them, and that's a big thing. In a lot of clubs, a lot of committees, there's distrust, there's friction, there's different agendas. So the one thing which I think that has been the secret sauce to the success here is been the collaborative approach and working together, which has yielded the results that are apparent to see.
So I've got a great relationship with the board, especially our chairman, David Smith. He's been here for probably nearly 30 years. Yes, so he's a very integral part of the club. He knows the club very well, and we've got a great rapport, great working relationship.
And David's wife, she's an amazing lady that gets out there selling raffle tickets, doing fundraising for community causes.
This comes back to the whole core of what community clubs is about, and that is communities.
It is.
And being involved and giving back. And that's the thing, the message that a lot of people just don't understand.
The one thing that's also impressed me is the schools program here to do with lawn bowling, but also musical instruments and things that the club has funded to be connected to the local community and to make sure kids understand what alcohol is and understand responsible attitudes to do with gambling products and everything that's out there in the world.
Tell me some of the more recent things, because I know you have supplied some instruments to the local schools. I think you were telling me about that.
Altona Primary School, we did supply instruments to them. We supplied a piano to them, and we also supply different other instruments that they need to have for their events that they have, or their school run their music programs. So we supply that to them, and they're very appreciative of that.
What are some of the other ways you can, off the top of your head, that the Altona Sports Club have given back to your community? Because it's a not-for-profit.
It is a not-for-profit.
That's the thing.
Yes, we do have to have. Yes, it is a not-for-profit. That's for
sure. I
sure.
think the Make-A-Wish Foundation nights have been fantastic.
Yes.
Also, Gavin, the club management magazine that comes out, the spring edition's got an article about this club, and also I think it's a great edition showcasing what clubs do and what they contribute. But some of your events, the fireworks that you have to do with the carols.
Carols by the Bay in December, when we have fireworks at night. We have a local school choir that comes down and sings, and that's put on for the whole community. As the Carols by the Bay, Make-A-Wish, Good Friday Appeal we do each year. We run an Australia Day event every year. We have over 3,000 people at the club, which is free to run.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
What's the event I'm helping out on? You asked me to come down and help out.
You're coming down to one of our cricket club's events that they're having here one night this next month, I think it is.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so Dean's asked if you could come along and be the MC of that.
I'd love to, as you know, mate. You've always got me, and as have any, dare I say, any of the clubs who would like me to help them out. I'm always there because it's wonderful. Again, not for profit, giving to the community, and the vibe in these sort of places is just fantastic.
All the junior sporting clubs in the area we support and give them a life-saving club in the area. We donate and support them, give them all our rooms for free. They come down, have a great night and enjoy the whole time.
Gavin, what would you say in recent years hospitality's changed in the TAFE sector? And the vocational training that I went through and you went through years ago now, for people wanting to come into the industry, what would your advice be to people wanting to come in and work in club management, do you think, Gavin?
Club managements are great. If you are really interested in it, by all means, get involved in a club, your local club or a club that's not local to you, because I think they will take you on board and put you through some great programs to teach and train you. And that's one of the better ways that people can learn without trying to go to do a diploma in hospitality. I think hands-on is one of the best ways that people can learn in the industry.
Well, that's right. When I first did hospitality at William Inglis, it was a blended course of not just classroom academic subjects, but also practical ones in a restaurant, in the cellar, in the bar, etc. Once again, to do with why you were chosen to do with Club Manager of the Year award was that you do send staff to seminars, you do make sure that you keep in touch with us and all the statutory compliance things you're onto, and that's what you need to do in the busy, dynamic world today. So certainly your management team, I've seen their development over time since you've been manager, and I think that's some good advice to people that want to, further themselves as a career in the industry. So good points.
We continue to train our staff and management, and then people say, you're always training your staff, and what happens if they leave? I said, what happens if I don't train them and they stay?
Fair comment. Andrew Lloyd, the CEO of CCV, is joined today along with myself and Gavin Comport, our special guest, the General Manager of the Altona Sports Club and recipient of a couple of awards recently, including the Keno Manager of the Year. Over your 7 years that you've been here at the Altona Sports Club, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen out there in the gaming area, in the hospitality area? Can you give me a couple of headlines?
Look, legislation and the changes that the government brings in is probably the biggest changes that we've seen. All our requirements that we've got to abide by now and follow is huge.
Is that where the CCV have helped you navigate?
The CCV have been really good. We use them a lot with advice and always in contact with Andrew or anyone at CCV to try and keep up with, on top of, any legislation requirements or changes that come in at any time.
Obviously, you find it very hard if you didn't have that sort of backup support.
Very much so.
Pick up the phone.
Yep, it's always changes. It's daily changes at times.
You talk about the community vibe here at the clubs, such as Altona, but you get the same feeling inside your office, Andrew.
Look, our staff, they've always loved coming to work. Even during the pandemic, they didn't want to work at home. They wanted to come to work because they want to be here to work together, to collaborate, to help the member clubs. So on our staff, we've got people that are graduates in hospitality, also graduates in sports management, because a lot of clubs like this one have a connection to do with their core purpose, being sport. So look, I'm really pleased and proud of our team that are very dedicated to helping our member clubs.
Yeah.
Okay, apart from legislation, Gav, what else has been some of the big takeouts from the last 7 years or changes?
Oh, changes.
What about food?
People's perspective
has been a change in the desire for menus?
Look, there has, and I have to say, Gavin's gone through this club having a leased out kitchen to one brought back in. And when I was here a couple of months ago on a Thursday night, my wife and I came after busy days at work. Gavin was finishing. We couldn't even get into the bistro to get some dinner because it was just so busy. So we ordered and had something in the sports bar, and then Gavin came over to have a lemonade and say g'day. And the chef here breads his own schnitzels, and there's so much good sort of wholesome back to basics. And that's why, the bistro is full.
It's all about who's behind the kitchen.
We've got a great chef. He's Mohammed. He's been here for probably 8 or 9 months now. He's fantastic. And we get a lot of people come down here that are gluten-free. So we do a lot of gluten-free options on our menu. We have separate fries in the kitchen, set up completely different. And people really appreciate that they can come here and have a gluten-free parma. And they can't go anywhere else and have one in the area. And it's just amazing that the people that do want to support us in our food's been fantastic. It's gone really gangbusters in the last couple of years. Also, when I first came here, I came halfway through the kitchen renovation. So I inherited a kitchen renovation of nearly $1.5 million.
A lot of club managers struggle with project management. It can be complex. It can be a little overwhelming for new managers. Gavin, you've done a lot of project management here with different projects over the time you've been here. Talk us through some of the learnings and what you'd say to newer managers that are not experienced and coming to a club and having to really be involved and immersed in delivering projects.
Yeah, well, when I came here, very first time I started here, I inherited a bistro renovation, which was halfway through, so had to hit the ground running and take control of those costs and make sure that we're on top of the builders, make sure what they were doing was correct. But you've really got to keep your finger on the pulse and look at, all your expenses, all your costs with any renovation that you have. And don't let your architects or anything like that just run the race, because they will just give you the most expensive thing they can give you and charge you exorbitant prices for it.
And if somebody said to me, you're going to have to manage a renovation, it's going to be like about a $3 million renovation.
Exactly.
I wouldn't know where to go.
That's why you have CCV, and that's why we've got long-term sponsor partners, architectural firms, accountants, lawyers, people that know clubs and know the industry and can help our members. So,
and we use the architects at CCV that do sponsor CCV, so we find them very helpful in that respect.
And they get it.
They do, and that's why CCV exists, to help members with this, but also the learnings from managers like Gavin that have been through it, understand the pitfalls, what you've got to cost, what you need to monitor with your budgets, your cash flows. And Gavin's point before is, you're right, you just don't give architects a blank check, because
definitely
they've
not.
got wonderful ideas and concepts that they'd love to progress. but everything's got to be costed and paid for at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Comes down to good management, Andrew.
It does. Keeping up with all the best practice procedures and policies, collaborating, working together. I know Gavin also has a good relationship with a lot of club managers, and that's what it's all about. Different forums that we have, professional development, you can just see people when they've coffee breaks, etc., talking about what's happening, what's working for their club, what they've seen interstate at the Sydney AGE Expo or the one in Brisbane each year. They're really interesting and good opportunities for people to get together, collaborate and to help each other. And that's the great thing about clubs. Whatever club you go to around this country, you'll find such goodwill and wanting to help each other. And that's
networking is one of the best things. Any club will help you out, even the RSL industry. I've got a great rapport with RSL managers that I used to deal with back in the day. And we still communicate now and talk to each other and help each other out.
Gavin Comport, we've spoken about the food, we've spoken about the gaming. Tell me about some of the sporting events you do here at Altona.
Well, we have a lot of sporting events, and we have a great junior development lawn bowls program where we go to the local schools. Richard probably goes to all the local schools in the area and has coached or trained over 4,000 kids at those schools over the period of time. And we've been lucky enough to have some of those kids come down here and take on bowls, and they bowl for us.
And Gavin, Richard, he's got some amazing qualifications in his work.
Now, who is Richard?
Richard Gale's our junior development coach. So he's also part of the Commonwealth Games. He coached at the Commonwealth Games, so he's got a very interesting repertoire for himself. We were lucky enough to have him here, and he's really great with the junior kids and how he develops them and pushes them forward. And they've bowled in our pennant size, Division 3. So cricketers do the same thing. We've got a junior cricket. We have an international coach, Scott Edwards, plays international cricket for Netherlands and played in the World Cups. He comes here and coaches our juniors during cricket season, and he loves it. The kids love it. They get involved, and it's great for the club, for the community, to see that sort of people at that calibre come down to our club and put in and give something back to the community.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Gavin, it's been a tremendous honour to speak to you today. Congratulations on being a 2-time winner of Club Manager of the Year, plus, of course, the award from the state government. That's wonderful. But before we go, what advice would you give to people who would like to become a manager or who are coming up through the ranks and would like to emulate what you've done here at Altona?
Find yourself a club where you can get involved in and work your way up through the ranks. But I said, don't be scared to ask any questions. Follow any training that you can do. Put yourself through courses, or the club may put you through courses and support you. But show the initiative that you really want to do that and take the bull by the horns and go for it. Have a go at it.
Common sense and a strong heart.
Exactly, John.
I've always subscribed to the same view, I think, as Gavin, that you want to lead your whole team. Obviously, the manager needs to be that leader, and the manager can't be bogged down with all operational things, etc., because then they fail to be a manager and a leader, but have the knowledge and the practical skills to be able to support and help your staff leads a great team.
And I don't ask any of my staff to do something that I'm not prepared to do myself. So,
you're a general who leads from the front, mate.
Thank you, John. And thank you, Andrew. And I'd just like to thank my board for they've been so supportive over the time as well. And without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Thanks, Gavin. We really appreciate your time today, Gavin, spending with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate your time.
Our special guest today has been Gavin Comport, the General Manager of the Altona Sports Club. I'm John Deek, and I've been joined by Andrew Lloyd, the CEO of CCV. And until next time, thank you for listening.